What we're going to do now is bring up our very own Miss Deidre Green, who is the founder, visionary of Virtue Inc., to welcome us and to tell us a little bit more about Virtue Inc. and what's happening today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Corey. And for all of you that don't know Corey, you're wondering why Corey's here is he plays a dual role. Corey sits on the board of Virtue. He's one of my board members, but he also was the original OG, with this whole cooking. We cooked out of Corey's house the first year in his kitchen, and he made a fabulous dinner. So anytime Chef Adam, watch him, because I mean he'll be trying to be Chef Corey over here second in line, you know what I mean? He comes to take over, he would want to be the whole man in here. But anyway, thank you so much, Corey. He does so much. There's a core team of folks that make all of what we do with the whole entire Women in Pink, from the run to the dinner to the exercise, because there are three components to being aware, early intervention, and that kind of thing as it relates to breast cancer and any kind of cancer. It's number one, knowing your body, what's going on with you, what's common for you. You got to get to know who you are with the tatas, okay? And then it's knowing your family history. What's in my genes? What's in my genetics? We know as African American women, the BRCA gene is really an ugly thing, and it really can wreak havoc. So you really need to know what your genetic makeup is, from your grandma to your mom, aunts, that kind of thing, your sisters, and encourage one another. So it's knowing your body, knowing your family history. Third thing, healthy eating. That's why we're here tonight. That's why we add that eating component in there. Then the run, exercise, run with virtue. Why are we running? Because we know that a certain amount of exercise, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, getting moving any kind of way you can, it helps decrease or helps improve your resistance to cancer. So those are the things when you talk about keys and why does Virtue do a run? Why is Virtue here eating? Why do we talk about knowing your body and your family history? It's because those are the kind of getting in early intervention. So we've been doing this for like 3 years, as Corey said. Started in his kitchen, started from the bottom. Now we're here, and then the next year we rested for COVID, and so we came. Now we're in kitchen. Apron's Kitchen here at Public. It's a beautiful place. I think it's a hidden gem, a gem in the rough. I think one of my core team members, Whitney B. Stand up, Whitney. She's like, but Whitney, I mean, I just can't tell you how much this lady has really helped to make the event happen. If you're looking for someone, an event planner to help you, professional, timely, has a lot of connections and a lot of great ideas, and just very dependable. If you're going to hire somebody on, they need to be very dependent. When you call them at 12 o'clock at night or send them a text, that they very well may text you back. So I heard Bishop Jakes once say, if you're going to be on my team, I don't just think from 9 to 5. I think after hours. And so if you're going to work, I'm talking leadership principles, guys, just throwing those in there, because that's one of the things that Virtues does as well. You can't depend on your boss to call you just between a box. Don't box them in, because that prevents you, then that puts you in a box. Take the lid off. So avail yourself. You never know especially when you're working with a creative individual, when something is going to drop in their spirit. It may be midnight. It may be 1 o'clock. And I'm not saying, you work for a tyrant, but be open to the fact that they may very well send me something outside of what's comfortable for me, or ask me a question, or want me to do something that's outside of what's comfortable for me. And I found that to be a quality or a virtue that Whitney operates in. And the same for Corey, same for Lahoma, same for Robin, same for Dorian. All of those, Megan, that work to make all of this happen. It takes a team to do that, and so we have a strong team to make the evening happen. I want this to be a girls and a guys kind of dinner. I don't want it to be stuffy, even at home. Just make it dinner. I wanted it to be more of a buffet, sit-down country kind of dinner, but we had to break this up. But I want us to really engage, get the information about healthy eating. We got Walter Goss, who is doing his own thing with the greens. It's his business. and he deals with healthy eating. So he's here tonight to talk to us about healthy eating tips. He's going to bring that. So it's informational, but I want it to be fun. I want it to be engaging. I hate stuffy anything. If anybody knows that about me, I'm just all about enjoying. Clean, but enjoying. Okay, so we got this place is smelling like some good food. It's some good eats. I told Chef, I said, now we want to be healthy, but we want to eat too. We want to eat. Don't invite me somewhere and the food ain't right. So it's going to be good. V.I.R.T.U.E, what are we about? We are a nonprofit organization, been around about 15 years in the community, doing community things, all about just injecting something that changes people. We give them a drop of virtue that inspires and motivates people to change, positive change your lifestyle, to take you to the next level. That's it in a nutshell. I won't bore you with all the other details, but we're about empowerment. We're about igniting and stirring change, and I think we've done that. If you look back over the years that we've been doing what we've been doing, we've made some changes in people's lives or lifestyle. So I'm going to sit down and let you come back, Corey, and let us get to this, what you call it, Chef? Panzanella salad. We're going to get ready for that and want us just to enjoy. Thanks to our guests. We have a small group of young ladies. They're entrepreneurs, they're business women, they're mothers, they're wives, they're daughters. But they're in the room with us tonight, and I hope you guys enjoy the meal and the table that's been set for you. Can we bless the food before we go any further? You know that we got to do things church-wise. So, Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity. We thank you for this day that you made. Before the worlds were framed, you knew that we would be in Apron's kitchen, and we would be amongst this cloud of witnesses. Everyone here tonight, they're not here by accident. Chef Adam, bless him and his staff. I think the divine connection, not by accident. We looked some other places, but you said here, God, is where we would tabernacle and we would fellowship and we would break bread together. And we just thank you, Lord, for everybody that's in the room. Thank you for the food and the hands that have so skillfully prepared what we are about to partake of. Let this time together be fun. Let it be informative, and let it be life-changing. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Come on over here and do what you do. Love you so much.
All right, thank you, Ms. D, for that. So with that, we're going to get ready to just share a short video that's about V.I.R.T.U.E Inc. So we want to make sure that we get the information out of exactly what V.I.R.T.U.E Inc. is about. So we're going to take a short time and do a video about V.I.R.T.U.E Inc. at this moment.
When I think about V.I.R.T.U.E Inc., I think about us from the standpoint of being one of the leading nonprofit, community-based organizations in the city. We've been around since 2006, and we've been delivering a message that we'd like to think empowers, equips, and ignites positive change to those that it reaches. Breast cancer is a major focus for V.I.R.T.U.E. I had to think about that. Because some people say that, this and that is a passion for you. It's not really a passion for me, more of a promise for me. In 2006, a young lady within our church, about 36 years old, very dear to me, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She passed away. And I said to Robin, is her name, and I said, I promise that I will continue to raise awareness, bring it to the forefront, and we've been doing that ever since. So it's more of a promise that's become a passion. As a part of the promise, we kicked off last year, this is our second one, Run with V.I.R.T.U.E. It's a virtual race. 5K can be run from any place at any time between October the 3rd and October the 9th. To sign up for the race, or just to donate, go to runwithvirtue.com. And the proceeds from the race will go towards research. We found that women need gas. We found that women need childcare. We found that some women need a place to stay. Last year, we donated to the St. Vincent's Foundation and designated that the monies from V.I.R.T.U.E would go towards inner city women who needed to have mammograms
or just gas to get there, or just somebody to take care of their kids, or medication. So that's what the proceeds are designated to do, and it stays right here in the city.
We're going to do now is we're going to have our awesome chefs just give us a little information about the heirloom tomato panzanella salad. We're going to get to enjoy it here in the studio here, and so we'll make sure that we give you all the information that you need as far as the menu items and all of that good stuff. But at this time, we're going to give it over to Chef Adam to just give us a little information about the panzanella salad. So what's all in it, Chef Adam?
Panzanella in Italian, pan in a lot of different languages and cultures, just means bread. And so when I think about changing things culturally here in the South, I've got tomatoes, I've got cucumbers, we grow all this stuff. Why can't we have our own panzanella? Well, in Italy, their pan, their bread is often a focaccia or an Italian loaf. When I was a kid, my pan was cornbread. That's what I had. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of start at the end and work my way back to the beginning. And I'll explain what I mean by that by showing you I have this wonderful, luscious display. This is heirloom tomatoes, red wine vinegar, oil, herbs, red onions, fresh cucumbers, all that wonderfully marinated. I've just kind of let this sit out at room temperature for about an hour or two. Just let it soak up the vinegar, salt and pepper, really nice. And you'll see there's a lot of moisture to it. One of the things about a panzanella salad, the reason that we kind of use these, I've made a cornbread style crouton here at the end of the demonstration. But I've cut my cornbread up and I've made almost like a salad crouton out of it. I've kind of dried it out a little bit, which takes some doing because my cornbread's got a lot of butter in it. But I don't know about y'all, but if you've ever seen kind of a bread salad before, that's exactly what this is. And I'm going to hand it over to Chef Megan and let her toss it up and marinate it. Chef, if you'll carry that with you, she'll show you the end of that process. Got up here the cucumber, onion, tomato, classic ingredients that we all know and love in the South. Nothing too mysterious there. Let's talk about cornbread. There's right ways and wrong ways to cornbread. Let's talk about the right way to cornbread. So a lot of people like to fight and argue about cornbread. And I understand it can be something that a subject that a lot of people have a lot of opinions about. I tend to think that as long as it's made in a cast iron skillet, we're at least that far ahead of the game. I see people try to make cornbread in big, long baking pans. It's got to be done in a cast iron skillet. In the bowl here, I've got cornmeal, a little bit of all-purpose flour. I'm just going to mix those ingredients together. In front of me, baking soda and baking powder. And then the kind of polarizing ingredient, just a little bit of sugar. Okay? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's fine. All right? And that's all nice and good. And of course, everything likes a nice pinch of salt. I like to make sure my dry ingredients are mixed up really well. That's wonderful. No big deal there. A couple fresh eggs. So we got to make a batter. Pretty simply done. There's not a whole lot in it. Butter, buttermilk, eggs, flour, and cornmeal. We've got one bowl for wet ingredients, one bowl for dry ingredients. And classically in the South, I don't like to make my cornbread with anything other than just really good, cultured, full-fat buttermilk. So I'm going to whisk those items together. I'm going to whisk my dry items over into my wet. And you're going to notice, Chef Adam, that looks like a really thick cornbread batter. Matter of fact, I'm spilling it all over myself. It's so thick. Well, we got to thin it out with something. And in my house, that's melted butter. Quite a bit. I think my recipe calls for like 10 ounces. I'm going to keep adding melted butter from this stick until it's nice. It gives me the right consistency. Now, okay, I like more, you have your opinion. I don't like sugar. I do like sugar. I like more cornmeal. I like less cornmeal. I put salt. I don't put salt. All that's fine. Here's what isn't fine. Like, if you don't do this, it's It's not cornbread for me. Way a long time ago, before we even got started this evening, I put a big cast iron pan in the oven with some vegetable shortening. And I let it get good and hot. Oven's at about 400 degrees. I'm going to thin this out just a little bit more. Because for me, the thing that I always thought was important about cornbread was that hard crust, that golden brown crust that can only come from that sound. So you've got to make sure that you've got your cast iron nice and hot. And you've got a good foam to your oil. It should immediately sizzle and immediately set. That's how you get a nice crisp crunch on the outside of your cornbread. Now, when that comes out, if you did it right, it'll pop right out of the pan. Cut it up into cubes, toast those cubes into croutons, and then toss them into your marinated vegetables. Classic, but a different take on cornbread and tomatoes, and I hope you like it. Thank y'all very much. Thank you, Chef. Those look lovely. We're going to make 18 plates.
All right, this salad looks amazing. Looks like everybody's enjoying their heirloom tomato panzanella salad. I had not heard of that before, but it looks awesome. But it looks good though. So thanks, Chef Adam, for that. So next we're gonna have our very own Walter Goss come up and talk about benefits of healthy eating. So Walter is also the owner of Just Greens, and so we want him to come up and sort of share some of his journey to healthy eating and his why to healthy eating, and talk about Just Greens, because this is right in your alley. This is all greens that we're eating right now. So let's talk about it. Come on up, Walter.
Hello, everyone. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with our founder, Deidre Green, and I'm enjoying watching you guys eat salads, because salads is my life. I love salads. I love salads. So, my name is Walter Goss. I am the founder of Just Greens. It's I want to say it's a salad eating company. It's actually I would call it an ecosystem that promotes healthy and clean eating. So my goal is to just provide better eating options in communities, so that I can ensure that lifestyles are created differently, and they result in preserve type fashion or form. But I do have some. And you may have heard some of these tips. You may not have heard, but I do want to kind of interact with you guys about some healthy eating tips. All right, let's see. Why is it important to eat healthy? Can anybody just talk back to me? Why is it important to eat healthy? I know you're eating, but it's okay. Casual dinner. Does anybody want to know? Anybody want to? Why is it important to eat healthy? Well, it's important to eat healthy so that we cannot be sick. We want to be well. We don't. We deal with a lot of sicknesses, illnesses, diseases, heart diseases, and different nature. But in number one factor in order to keep yourself healthy is what you put in your mouth. You have to ask yourself rhetorically, when you go into the grocery store, when you go into different food places, even if it's a fast food place, how will this benefit me? Will this how would it feed me on a cellular level? Will this cause me to gain weight? Will this cause me to get cancer? What would it do to me? So that's what I do to myself a lot. I ask myself, what is it? How can this food benefit me? So that's why I try to stay away from a lot of stuff. But you know how that is, because we are human. But I have a couple of tips that I would like to talk about. My first tip is water. Drinking water. Drinking water, it may sound a bit simple, but drinking water can be actually complex. Everybody, who all does not like drinking water? See, look. A lot of people don't like drinking water, but our bodies are composed of 70 to 80% of water. So we have to ensure that when we have to ensure that we're drinking more than coffee. We have to ensure that we're drinking more than tea. And one of the worst things we can drink is soda. We have to ensure that we're putting more water. You smile at Miss Vivian. We have to ensure that we're drinking lots and lots of water. But I have a little secret about water. All waters isn't good. Did you not know that some water is acidic? Well, let's talk about acids and alkalinity, because I love this type of subject. So foods and water or drinks are composed of two bases. That's acids and alkaline. It can be either acidic or alkaline. On a pH scale, you have, I think it's 0 to 10 or 0 to 15. 0 to like 6 is like acidic. 7 and above is like pH 4 alkaline. Alkaline is the best of what you can actually intake or put in your body, the foods and the drink. Well, a lot of waters you may not know are acidic. I'm going to call out some of them. Well, I don't want to get sued, so. But just be careful when you're in the grocery stores and when you're drinking water. Just be careful of the waters that you get, because every water is not. Now on the water they have labels, pH label, alkaline. It shows that they have to now apply the number onto the label so that you can be aware of what you're intaking. And so if you see a water bottle that has a pH level of 7 or more, you're pretty much in the right direction. But waters that you like to drink most of the time, I wish I can call them out. Be very, 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 very careful. I'll just say I like Eternal water. I'll say I like Mountain Valley spring water. Those are great waters. I like Fiji water. Just to be honest, over there they have public spring water. If you want to be safe, stay with the spring water. And believe it or not, if you put a lemon in tap water, it turns it alkaline, so you'll actually be good. Yeah, it does. See? I feel better now. You guys are All right, let's see. That is one of my tips. So please drink water. I saw a couple of people say you don't drink. You have to drink water, because water fuels your cells and your organs, and it ensures that your bodies are operated in an optimum or maximum level. So please drink water, because water flushes out a lot of impurities and toxins that's in your body. As a matter of fact, here's a challenge. When you get up in the morning, the first thing you should do before you wash your face, before you brush your teeth, drink water. Not cold water, because cold water expands it teeters with your digestive system and your esophagus. It expands, and food cannot really digest with cold water. But if you drink warm water or lukewarm water, it relaxes your esophagus and it causes your cells to be lubricated, and it cleanses out of your organs, and it just puts you in a position that you're ready to go about your day. So try it out. Drink water for about a good 7 days and you will see the difference. No coffee, no tea, no nut. I'm telling you, water will change your life. Okay. Okay. All right. Second tip. Now you may or may not know this, but how many of you find yourself being late eaters? You go to bed at 11, you eat at 10. It happens to the best of us. Well, that is not good. Because okay. Our bodies are the most beautiful, complex, unique design machines. God created it that way. So your body will tell on you. If you go to bed about 11 o'clock and you eat at 10, you're going to either feel it through the night or when you wake up in the morning. Because what happens, your digestive system has to overwork itself when you're eating that late. You're really not supposed to eat about 3 hours before you go to bed. So if you know you're going to go to bed at 11, eat about 7. So it gives yourself time. It gives your body time to digest your food. I mean, if you want to eat a little snack like some, I don't know, dark chocolate, Godiva, that's pretty good. Popcorn, something really light, fruit, something really light is good if you know you're going to eat before you go to bed. But don't eat pork chops and mashed potatoes. And macaroni and cheese and all of those. I mean, you will feel it, okay? I'm just saying. All right. Actually, it slows down your metabolism as well. You know, if your metabolism is high, Corey, let me know if I'm over time. If your metabolism is high, it helps you to burn off a lot of fat. All right. But if it slows down, you know what'll happen after that. It causes you to gain weight. All right. Here's what I like. Foods from the ground such as fruit, vegetables, and what I would say herbs are healing properties. A lot of us think fruits, vegetables, well, mostly vegetables. We think vegetables are like distasteful, but they're not. Vegetables, fruit, drinking a lot of water, they're healing properties for. We have to eat on a cellular level. If we're eating on a level that's acidic, that forms diseases. If we're eating mucus-forming food, that forms diseases. So you have to be careful of what you're putting on your plate, because you can either heal your body or you can actually make your body sick. So you have to know the difference between alkaline foods and acidic foods. Well, what are some acidic foods? Hamburgers, hot dogs, a lot of your sweets that you eat, different things like that does not heal your body. Put it like this: if it doesn't come from the ground, it's not good for the body. Okay, I didn't get enough. Because food that comes from the ground is electric. Our bodies is electric. You believe it or not, this is an electrical body. Okay, you want to bring somebody back to life? What do? What do they use? They call it an electro something. It's they're infusing electricity in your body and your heart, because your brains and your heart is electric. So they're infusing that into your body so that it can resurrect you. So if foods are actually electric, the ones that comes from the ground, it gets sun, it gets carbon, it gets oxygen. We are literally plant-based beings. That's why we should eat a plant-based diet. Okay. Lady Green said she does not like a stuffy room. All right, so just the type of foods that you eat, and I'm very adamant about this. I had a grandmother, who had diabetes, and I was there with her all along. You know what diabetes is? It deals with your glucose. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I just do a lot of study and research. But diabetes has to do with a lot of your glucose level. They have this thing where they call it AC1. I know about AC1 because of my grandmother and my mom. Recently, and she doesn't mind me saying this, her AC1 level was like, as much as I like to eat healthy, and I just really am a militant in my household when it comes to food. She started eating all this processed food, which we're going to talk about in a second. And over a period of time, it caused her AC1 level to increase to about over 6, which puts you in a diabetic state. Lord Jesus, did I get furious? But we had a solution for that. So I started prepping her foods and just ensure she's eating a lot of greens, a lot of healthy foods, a lot of fruits. In the morning time, I have the whole counter just have a lot of fruits up there. So when you get up in the morning, you're not going to be eating rice and grits and bacon. No, get you an apple, avocado, and eat that, because it really turns your glucose level and it shifts it, and it causes you to be very, 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 very balanced. Okay, benefits of healthy eating. Thank you. Benefits of healthy eating. These are tips. Are you guys learning? Okay, because you guys are working me. All right, so yeah, let's see. Refined sugars. Now watch this. Refined sugar is as addictive as cocaine. You ever known anybody who had a drug addiction? Well, stop judging them, because if you eating a lot of refined sugars, you could be an addict. I'm just saying, a lot of refined white sugar is addictive. I'm telling you. Look, when you go into these, okay, just be cognizant of your labels on your food, because it will tell a lot. They hide a lot of ingredients that we do not know about, and what type of ingredients they are in chemicals by those big words, triphosphates and all. All right, this is just a challenge. I'm a label individual, but too much sugar can shrink your brain as well, and also processed foods and fried foods can lead to cancer. Eat a lot of church's chicken and Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, there's nothing wrong with chicken, and I'm not saying we're perfect. I'm just saying, when you're eating, just be sure to put more whole foods in your body. Fruits, vegetables, water. Choose those avocados and bell peppers and red peppers and quinoa. I don't know if you heard of that before. Chickpeas. Those alkaline foods, they can literally change your life. Like, look at me. I dealt with acid reflux. I was eating a lot of Funyuns and Twix, and I love golden Oreo cookies. They be like, Get me, $5. Okay. All right. But what I had to do, I had to just discipline myself, because healthy eating is also a mental discipline. If you're not cognizant of how you embrace the food that you put on your food, like you embrace your Nine West, or like you embrace your Louis Vuitton, if you're not cognizant of what you put on your plate, your bodies will tell on you, okay? All right. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right, let's give it up for Walter. There's a lot of good tips. We'll bring you back up in a minute to finish that. But what we want to do now is go really into our next video, which is going to be about our Wellness Wednesday. Dr. Cree, this Wednesday, October the 5th, will be doing a Wellness Wednesday. And so we're going to hear a little bit from Dr. Cree right now with her video, so that everybody can know exactly what's happening on Wednesday.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Dr. Cree. You know who I am. I specialize in helping everyday, overwhelmed, overworked, working women learn to live healthy, happy, whole lives. So I need y'all to get y'all calendars out and join me on October 5th at 11:30. And I want you to have lunch with me. While me, Dr. Cree, we're going to team up with Run with Virtue for Wellness Wednesday. And we'll be talking about breast cancer awareness. And I'll be giving you some updates on what's going on with the tatas. Meet me there. Hey, matter of fact, beat me there. I'll see you on Facebook Live.
All right, what's up next? We got gumbo and rice. So Chef Adam is going to walk us through how to make this smell good gumbo that I smell. That I actually want some of that. So we're going to turn it over to Chef Adam at this point to do the gumbo and rice.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. This is the perfect recipe to follow your talk because everything in this comes from the earth. This is actually a very non-traditional style gumbo. This gumbo pays West African homage. There's a community, the Gullah community off of coastal Carolina. It's predominantly all West African with an island influence. And gumbo literally translated is West African for okra. Okay, so it's actually the vegetable okra. And for me, almost all gumbo has to have okra in it. And traditionally, it is thickened with okra and it's thickened with filet and sassafras. So there's all different kinds of ways to make gumbos. I think here in the South, typically we think of andouille sausage and shrimp and just the classic New Orleans style gumbo. This is a vegetarian style gumbo. It's going to be a little bit different, a little bit interesting. We get wonderful depth of flavor. I went ahead and did a lot of knife work earlier. So I have poblano peppers, jalapeno peppers, okra, celery, onions, all ready to go, and a nice heavy cast iron pot with some good oil. And as always, getting a nice sizzle is important. We added a little bit of garlic into this recipe as well. We're going to let that mix and saute together. Now, for this particular gumbo, this is an herb gumbo with herbs. I like to get my okra into the pot early because we're going to let that okra kind of produce its natural thickening agent and let it get started. We need to season early, really simply. Nice bit of good salt and good pepper. And then classically, we all have our friend Tony Chachere's. We're going to use a little Tony's. Nothing wrong with that. And some paprika. We're going to let that sweat or saute the vegetables together. And that'll be the foundation of spice for our soup. I think one problem people struggle with when they make soup, they're afraid to season it, and they're afraid to season it early. Every time I add something to the soup, I have to add seasoning to season that item that I've added to the soup. And I'm doing the very kind of the quick run through here, but after letting these vegetables sweat down a little bit more, I will add a little bit more vegetable oil, and we are going to help this out with a little bit of roux. So classically, you make a kind of a New Orleans style roux with a very dark look to it. And you let that roux cook for a long period of time. We're not necessarily going to do that with this gumbo. This is a fresh vegetable style gumbo. But what I like to do, anything that I use flour to make a roux with, it's just making gravy or just making a sauce. I like to give the opportunity for the flour to cook for a little bit, or else it kind of tastes real gummy, doughy. Also, if you get lumps in your gravy or your sauces, if you don't let the flour kind of cook for a little bit, you can have a struggle with that. We're going to use a little bit of sherry vinegar, which is an interesting flavor additive. I like vinegars, and I like sherry specifically. But I'm going to deglaze with a touch of vinegar. Certainly, if you like a spicy gumbo, you can add hot sauce through the way. But a little bit of vegetable stock is actually what's going to form the foundation of our soup. One thing that's very important to remember, anything that you thicken with a roux, it will not become fully thickened until the sauce reaches a boil. And once it reaches a boil, you want to let it simmer and you want to let that flour cook. You'll actually sit here and watch the sauce just naturally thicken. Now, what's interesting about this gumbo is it's finished with greens. Here at Publix, we have kale greens, turnips, collards, spinach, all those wonderful ingredients. We actually simmer down cabbage. So it's kind of like the gumbo of greens. It's got 4 different greens in it. Over time, as we cooked this gumbo and we simmered it, we added those vegetable greens to the pot. And anybody who has ever cooked greens, collards, cabbage knows it gives off a lot of water, a lot of liquid. So as I added the vegetables to the pot and let it simmer, it actually became richer with the broths, those pot liquors from those different greens as we went along, to where you'll see the gumbo that the chefs now are about to plate has that dark, rich New Orleans kind of a gumbo look to it. And all that is done from the hearty vegetables of the greens as we've cooked it. Now, we've steamed a little bit of fresh basmati rice to go along with this. This is just a classic vegetable style West African gumbo, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. Here we have it. A little tough to plate, isn't it, chefs? Thank you. Yeah, chef.
All right, all right. How's everybody enjoying the gumbo? It's great. Yeah, very good. I had some of mine, so it's phenomenal. I'm definitely getting this recipe to recreate. So y'all let me know if you want a spoonful. Okay, so let's take a moment to thank our partners who has helped Virtue definitely over the years, but definitely this year. We have our Virtue Inc. partners this year: Senator Roger Smitherman. We have Jefferson County Commission Office, the City of Birmingham, More Than Conquerors Faith Church, District 6 of the Birmingham City Council, Attorney Chris Burrell, Dr. Cree, Whitney B. Events and Styling. We have Lock Laces, and we also have Dorian Gabrielle Consultants as well as partners this year. So let's give just a round of applause for all of our partners. Also, at this time, I want to bring up a very special person who's been a founding board member since Virtue has began, and so we want to bring up Miss Lahoma Napper to just talk about why she continues to serve as a board member, but more importantly, she serves as many things to the founder, but as a board member, would just love to hear your why for Virtue Inc. and how you continue to serve over the years, and maybe what you see in the future as a board member, especially seeing it from the beginning to what it is now, and then what it may be in the future.
Thank you, Coriate. Good evening, everybody. It is such a fun time tonight, and I hope everybody's enjoying it on Facebook with us as well. But I am a founding member. I mean, I had to think about that. It's just I've always been there kind of thing, so I don't think about it. But I have seen Virtue just do some amazing things. The one thing I would say about this founder, if you don't know her, is that she is a true visionary. She has a heart for the people, all people, and she comes from a medicine background. So her health sector also ties into just the natural. And so there's a lot of like healing, not only spiritually, but in the natural. And how do you bring awareness? So I have seen them do things from women who may have lost their hair and restoring that. It was called Restoring the Glory in a very upscale, setting where everything was very private for them. These women, Ms. D actually had people come in from centers that cater to women with cancer because they lose their hair, and there's certain makeups that they can't use. But if you know her, it's going to be the best. We had the Estee Lauder team there. We had the Bobbi Brown people. I mean, it was just letting people know their value. So when she talks about the mission, it is truly that mission. So back in the day, we were doing that. We're doing, going out there, doing the Coleman race, participating, showing that we weren't having our own race at the time, but look what we've done, guys. We have our own race going on. We're not competing, but we're also just saying we're reaching that segment that maybe haven't been reached through Coleman, but that's what we're doing there. So with that, we've done just a lot of education awareness on several levels. We've even tapped into, we have a lot of millennial type of age group here, but we've tapped into this whole event we did, 50 Shades of Grey, with partnership with UAB. Like, how amazing is that? We had over 150 girls there with a panel of doctors. It was just like a big party, educational, but a big party. I mean, everybody was dancing and doing their thing. It was educational. So what I would say is, why do I do it? I do it because it reaches the masses. It is all for the good. We put the work in. God gives her the vision. We move forward with it, whatever it takes. I feel very privileged to be part of the core team all this time, that I have been able to witness it. So I am not talking from hey, let me sell you something. This is what I know. And so even today, we don't just do things to do things. It's all strategic. It's all with the God mindset. I mean, that's just who we are. And how do we impact people and empower people? There's a lot of motivational speeches and things out there, and I love all kinds of inspiration, but when it is grounded in the Word of God, it doesn't get better than that. So it's twofold. And as you know, she likes to have fun. She's funny. She's hilarious. So it's not stuffy, but it's impactful. And that's why I continue to do what I do. As long as God allows me, I will always be there to do this. I mean, maybe they'll kick me off the board. I don't know. Most boards have terms. I mean, maybe I'll be like just this other member. But I've been fortunate to be on the ground from the beginning, and I've been blessed. And I didn't think I would share this. If I can just share one more thing. I just want people to remember that it doesn't matter what age you are when you may be faced with a challenge of a breast cancer or something like that. So for all your nieces, your daughters, your little girls that you know, starting as early as 10, 11, 12, have them check themselves. You check them. They don't know what to look for, but you start checking them. I had a scare too with my daughter 2 years ago. I don't know if it's been 2 years, but thank God that it was benign. But just like that, and I didn't even think about it. I mean, it happened so quick. She was going to get tested for, cheer. And that's what we found. So it's very important that let me know, like, you don't have to be 30, you don't have to be 40 now. Now. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I promise you, it changed my life. Changed my life, changed my thought. I think about it all the time in the sense of who else can I help? So why do I do this? That's why I do this. If I did not have the knowledge and wherewithal from being a board member, walking aside next to this woman for that long period of time, I probably would have been a train wreck. It happens when we're emotional beings, right? That happens, but we got through that. We got the right counsel. She was there with me. I mean, she's good. We still check. Her anniversary comes up next week. We go and get checked. You know, I'm just sharing that at this time because I'm thankful to God for it. And I'm just saying, as what I give to you is never too young. So just check. Have your daughters check, and then you'll be so grateful for it. So be a partner with us. We're doing great things. We're going to be doing great things next year. We have, just remember this, we had a campaign called the Because campaign. We're relaunching that. So, save the date, it's coming. And the whole Because campaign was really around because I love my sister, because I love my aunt, because of whatever. I'm sending you a card to remind you to check yourself, right? That is so simple. We all like cards and stationery. That's the simplest thing, but that may hit me on a day that I got it in the mail that I'm like, oh, I should check myself. So you just don't know the impact. So I am here if you have any questions for those in the room about it. Check our website out online. I mean, you could not invest in better ground. I'll say that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lahoma, for that. That was excellent. So just because we haven't done this yet, I just want to get a picture here of what V.I.R.T.U stands for. Vessels imparting and restoring temples to uncontestable excellence. Our mission is to empower people and ignite positive change, and that's exactly what she just talked about. So that's just not words that we put on paper. That's actually what we do as an organization. And so, again, just another round of applause for Miss Lahoma there, founding board member, not only a board member, but now a partaker of what we're trying to do with V.I.R.T.U Inc. So excited about that. So remember what she said, never too early, do it now, so that we can really do exactly what we're called to do, which is early education. So the next couple of things we're going to do is do a couple of more videos of what's in your gene, and we're also going to have a video from our very own Mayor Randall L. Woodfin, and then we're going to get into some steak. I'm ready to eat some as well. It's going to be very fun. They're going to have steak with also some root vegetables as well. So at this time, we'll turn it over for our videos. Again, what's in your genes, and a greeting from our very own Mayor Randall L. Woodfin.
Hey, do you know what's in your genes?
No.
Do you?
Jeans?
Not your blue genes, your genetics. Hi, I'm Dee Green, founder of V.I.R.T.U Inc. Knowing what's in your genes is key to early detection of breast cancer. Remember these keys. Know your family history. Age and race are important risk factors. Exercise and eat healthy. Know your body. What's normal for you? Get screenings as recommended. Use these keys and remember, early detection is key.
Hey everyone, I'm Mayor Randall Woodfin. Many of our friends, family members, and loved ones have been affected by breast cancer. It's estimated that 1 in 8 women in the U.S. will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime. That's why it's so important. It's so important that we raise awareness about treatment, care, and prevention of this disease. That's why I'd like to invite you to join the V.I.R.T.U Inc. for their run with the V.I.R.T.U 5K race. The virtual race can be ran, walked, or jog from anywhere in the world starting October 2nd through October 8th. You set your own pace and time. Deidre Green, founder of V.I.R.T.U.E, Inc., and her team have been raising awareness for breast cancer and women's health for more than 15 years in Birmingham. This race will help raise funds to support medical advancements in breast cancer research and treatments, which includes immediate needs such as transportation to and from treatment, as well as lodging for those that need to travel for treatment. Now, for more information, please sign up and visit runwithvirtue.org. Again, that's runwithvirtue.org.
All right, so we are here right now to talk about our ribeye steaks, which is probably one of the best things. I know you guys are pretty excited about that. Get a little bit of protein in our diet tonight. So we're going to be talking about that, but we had a couple of stages, so a couple layers to this dish that we did today. The first thing we actually started off with was actually our cream. We actually did a cream and blue cheese sauce, okay? So this is a very, very simple concept. All we did is we just put a little bit of cream on, and we're going to allow that to reduce very, very slowly. So the process of reduction is just taking something that's a large amount and reducing it down to a smaller amount by evaporating the water out of it. So it concentrates the flavor, and it usually will thicken it down, okay? So we actually added that in. We did that for about 20 minutes. We actually allowed that milk to actually reduce down. Then we poured in a little bit of blue cheese, and we allowed that to melt down. So we actually have a nice sauce that will be on the side of your guys' steak. We also went ahead and did some roasted roots vegetables. So I diced just some beautiful vegetables we had out there. We had a wonderful summer squash and some sweet potato, right? So we actually went ahead and diced this down. And then we put it onto our pan with just a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. We really just want the taste of the vegetables to come out, and we want that to shine. So we put that on our pans. We put that in the oven, 400 degrees, for about 20 to 22 minutes. Because they're so small, they're going to cook very, very quickly, whereas instead of just cutting it into really, really big sizes, right, that's going to take me close to about 45 minutes. When you dice it super small, you get a lot longer. If you want to take the time to dice down a summer squash, you absolutely can. Or we make it pre-made outside in our deli, so you can just go grab it right off the shelf. That makes things a lot easier for you. But one of the important things, too, we also did is we worked with parsnips. So parsnips are actually kind of like the blonder version of the carrot. They have a lot of really fantastic flavor to them, and they're also like really, really high in excellent vitamins for you as well. So we did some parsnips, and we actually just went ahead and cut them down to like inch-sized pieces, and we cooked them down in our vegetable stock. And we actually did chicken stock today. You can do whichever one you want to, but because this already has so much body and flavor to it, it's only going to add to the flavor of the vegetable that you're actually cooking. So basically, you're only really going to boil that for about 10 to 8 minutes, just enough to where you can pierce it with a fork, to where it's perfectly tender. Once it's tender, that will actually come out. Reserve the liquid. So this is actually the cooking liquid that I pulled off after cooking my parsnips. So this just has all those vitamins that leached out from that parsnip, actually just sitting in that water right there. So this is super, super healthy for you, right? So I just took that out, and I pureed the sauce together while I just very gently poured in that stock. So that reserve stock is going to start to break that down. It's all that flavor, all that delicious, just wonderful vitamins, nutrients are just mixing back into our pot. So you guys can actually probably see it. You may not be able to see it, but I have it in this pot right here. Chef Pierce is getting it stirred up for me because we have a little bit of butter that we've added in, and that's just to give that nice velvety feel and taste that you guys are used to. And just to kind of one little add thing, we also added a little bit of sour cream as well to give it a little bit of tang. So we're going to have that on the base of our actual dish today. We're going to top it with our root vegetables. And then, of course, what is the piece de resistance? The steak, right? So we actually did a method called marking and parking. So you guys can see, when we came in today, we actually went ahead, grilled these off. I think a lot of ladies were in the room when we were grilling this off. You probably got to smell it and was like, oh man, that smells amazing. I can't have it yet. So we went ahead and just grilled these off and put the grill marks on it. And then as we finished it, we allowed them to rest. And the important thing about the meat resting is basically once the heat goes up, all the moisture is going to start to release. So if I cut into that piece of meat, all that moisture, all that delicious flavor is gone, just leaking out of it, right? So what you want to do is you actually want to allow your steaks to rest at room temperature for anywhere to 2 to 5 minutes, and it's going to continue to cook. So you can even go up to a whole nother degree. So if you like something mid-rare, but you're like, maybe I prefer it medium, if you pull it out of the oven and you set it down, it'll actually cook usually about between 2 to 5 minutes up into that medium position, okay? It'll be a very light medium. So we actually have these out. Chef Pierce is going to test the temperature on those. And then we're going to get that sliced up. So we're going to allow those to rest for just about 5 minutes as we start to actually plate. Allow those juices to soak back into the actual meat. So that way when we cut it, we're not losing any flavor or anything like that. Important thing when we go to cut, one of the things I will point out to you guys, is on one of these steaks, there is grain, almost like you would do like a piece of wood. So, if you guys can see on this particular one, I actually have a grain running left to right on this piece of meat, right? So if I wanted to cut, I always cut against the grain, okay? What that does is that allows the moisture not to like seep out of it, so it becomes a much tender cut. So you don't want to spend all this time on your meat, right, and then cut it improperly, and it becomes chewy and gross and not the way that you want it. So always remember the cross method, cut against the grain. And that is what we have so far. We're going to go ahead and start plating this up for you ladies to enjoy, and thank you so much.
Get out, get active, get started. Hi, I'm Dee Green, founder of V.I.R.T.U.E Inc., and I'd like to invite you to join Run with V.I.R.T.U., a virtual 5K in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October 2nd through 8th. Run at your pace, on your own time, and at your place of choosing. The virtual 5K is ideal for anyone who wants to get active while joining thousands to support a global cause. Visit runwithvirtue.com to register and get started.
Good day, Extra. We're back here once again at the Bethesda Family Life Center on the campus of More Than Conquerors Faith Church. And of course, this is where you can actually sign up and talk. And we're talking about Run with V.I.R.T.U 5K. It's happening October 2nd through the 8th. It's a virtual 5K. And we're joined now by Lisa Boer with Resolute Running. How you doing, Lisa?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so there are people out there, they want to participate. They want to help give back to the cause. But they're just going, but I've never run a 5K. So what is a good goal for them to do if they want to run it?
Yeah, so the most important thing is to just take it one step at a time. So just like with anything, eating a sandwich, saving up for a car, you don't do it all in one bite, or you save $1 at a time. So just getting out the door and taking one step at a time is the most important thing. If you're out doing a virtual 5K, you can take a break, take a water break, and then carry on. You can walk, you can run, you can do a combination. Maybe you walk a little bit, maybe you run a little bit, maybe you walk the whole thing, but just taking that one step at a time.
And speaking of that, would you recommend, especially for those people who are not used to running but they want to participate, would you recommend them do it with a team member or someone else?
That is a great idea. But I know that the community is so important for this cause and for fitness and running in general. So have a friend, start a team. Get somebody to come with you and go on this journey with you. Would be very motivating.
It would be. And the registration is $35, and it goes for a great cause. Speaking of that, I know there's a lot of people behind the camera. Everybody come over here real quick. Come over here real quick, guys, because we're going to end this thing with a big, because runwithvirtue.com. It is October 2nd through the 8th. All of these guys are going to participate. You get a free t-shirt, you get swag, you get all kinds of stuff, and it's for a good cause, right, Dee Green?
It's for a great cause.
I hear you. All right, well, Lisa, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we've got more coming up, guys. Runwithvirtue.com, October 2nd through the 8th, virtual 5K. Do it any way you want to. Take the advice that Lisa said, and of course, finish, because it is for a good cause. We got more coming up as Good Day Extra continues. Everybody ready?
Hello, we're with Pure Bar, and we're so excited to be working with V.I.R.T.U 5K coming up next week. Get out there, run, get active, whatever you do. Join us next week on Monday. We're so excited.
Hey, I'm Jay with V.I.R.T.U. I just wanted to encourage everybody to get out and run with V.I.R.T.U and this week, and best of luck to you as you do.
All right, good morning. I'm Danny with Run University, and I want to encourage you to please get out and run with V.I.R.T.U.
Well, welcome back. We're all full from our steak, but I think everybody enjoyed it. I know I did. Again, I can't wait to get the recipe so I can go home and cook it. So I hope you guys do as well. We're sharing the recipes with everybody, so make sure that you take screenshots, do whatever you need to do. We'll make sure we post it as well with Virtue Inc. So that you have the recipes for everything that we're doing today. So now we're going to move into our very last segment, which is dessert. That's everybody's favorite thing to do. But before we do that, we want to do a short demonstration and sort of information on the importance of a cutting board. And so what we want to do is do a couple of giveaways. And so for everyone who's watching us via Facebook, I want you to tag as many people as you can. And at the end of the night, we're going to give you a cutting board, and we're going to show you what that cutting board looks like. But here live in the studio, we're going to give a cutting board to the first person who arrived, which happens to be Ember. So you will get a cutting board from V.I.R.T.U.E Inc. So congratulations for that. You got to use it. Invite us all over when you start using it. So now we're going to turn it over to our chef, and he's going to actually talk through the importance of a cooking board. So before we do that, just make sure tag as many people as you can on Facebook, and the winner who tags the most will win. Oh, the winner will tag the most, and we'll send you guys a cutting board, and you'll see what that cutting board is here in just a second. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the chef to talk about the benefits of the cutting board.
Sweet. You guys ready? Sweet. All right. So these cool little cutting boards are made out of wood. I know my mom and grandma told me that wood utensils aren't the best because they expand. You can't put them through the washing machine. You still can't put these through the washing machine. Sorry, dishwasher. You don't want to put these through any type of heavy, hot materials or any type of chemicals. So we offered you guys a little bit of mineral oil to go along with keeping these things fresh and keeping them clean. So everybody know a little bit of 5th grade science. We're going back. Does oil and water go together? Do they separate? They separate, right? So if you keep oil in your cutting board, if you keep it oiled and fresh, it's going to not allow any liquids to actually seep into the cutting board. So that's the actual trick to keeping these and making them last nice and pretty like this one is over here, making it last a nice long time. You can buy one and have it crack and break in the first 2 weeks, or you can buy one and not have it crack or break in the first 2 years. Just depends on how much you keep up with it. So if you do use it a lot, just take care of it like you would anything else. You bought a nice little piece of wood. You really want to take care of it. You're going to be eating and cleaning off of it for hopefully the rest of your life. So keeping it nice and oiled and clean is something that you really like to do. So again, these are really nice little presents, things to take home. So congratulations again for your cutting board. And then is everybody saving room for dessert? Is everybody ready for a little dessert? Yes? Cool, cool, cool. All right. So ice cream fans, raise your hand. You scream, I scream. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we are going to be starting off with a little bit of buttermilk ice cream. And one thing is we have a couple different types of ice cream. We have American ice cream, French ice cream, and Italian ice cream. So French ice cream, very, very fancy. They're going to use heavy cream, no milk, heavy cream, and egg yolks. A little bit of sugar, and they're really going to do some cool things. Italians are going to be a little bit lighter. That's going to be a little bit healthier. So they're going to use whole milk instead of heavy cream, because whole milk has a little bit more water into it, so it makes it a little bit healthier for us. And then we're going to go into American ice cream, which is kind of just like a little bit of make it happen type of thing. So it's going to be sugar and cream at your luckiest. If they're trying to do something nice, they're going to throw some eggs in there. And we're going to actually do a little bit of both. So we're doing an American style, French style ice cream. So we're using buttermilk. This in the recipes that we're going to give y'all, we have buttermilk, heavy milk, or buttermilk, whole milk, and heavy cream all together, but for demonstration, this is all 3 of those for y'all. So we have some buttermilk, heavy cream, and whole milk all in one, about 1.5 cups of each. Put it on, and we want to put it on a low heat. So we want to bring this up to steeping. We do not want to have it boil. Anybody know the temperature of boiling water or boiling liquid? 212, yes. So you want it to be below 212 significantly. Maybe around 150 is the highest you really want to get it. So we just want to take it until it's nice and boiling. So, or before it's boiling, just get it nice and hot. So if you start to see steam coming off of the top of it, that's a good sign to turn it off and kind of just let it sit there. As it's sitting, we are going to take some eggs and some sugar, pre-measured amount. This is the exact amount that you're supposed to have. So we're going to pour all of our sugar in. It's not that much, don't worry. It calls for a lot of sugar, so we're going to be using a decent amount, about 1.5 cups. we are going to separate some eggs. Everybody know how to separate eggs? Easiest way to separate eggs. It's a joke, don't worry about it. So we're going to take our egg yolks, and we are going to crack our egg into our hand, let gravity do the work, and just kind of bounce it back and forth. We only want the egg yolks, saving the egg whites for another use. So just kind of keep it if you want to do like an egg white omelet in the morning after you make yourself 4 quarts of ice cream at night. So we are going to, again, let gravity do the work, pinch it off, let the gravity go down, take our eggs and our sugar, and we are going to whisk them together. So believe it or not, sugars are actually liquids when it comes to baking, because if you add liquid to sugar, it becomes a liquid. So if I mix these yolks in with this sugar, it's going to, I know it doesn't look like it up on the TV, but it's going to start to come together. And once I add a little bit of my warmed milk, it's going to start creating like a liquid. So we have our yolks and our sugar all blended up together. We're going to take our cream, and it's called tempering when we take a little bit of cream into our yolks. So what happens if we put a bunch of hot cream into our yolks? We're going to cook our yolks, right? We're going to get scrambled eggs. Nobody wants scrambled eggs in your ice cream, do you? So we are going to slowly add in cream while we're mixing, and this is going to slowly bring up our eggs to the same temperature as our cream. So we're bringing up our cream to about 120, 150. This is room temperature, so we put a little bit in, mix it until it kind of goes about the same temperature. Once it's the same temperature, and you have a nice liquid that's pourable, then we're going to go back. That is a technical term, pourable. We are going to pour this slowly while we whisk, so we don't get any more scrambled eggs. If you happen to overcook it and you do start to see a little bit of scrambled eggs, just strain it out. It'll come out right away. So from here, if we have any eggs, we're going to strain it into another container, take our container, put it into the refrigerator or in the freezer if you're in a bit of a rush of time, but you really want to do it slowly. You don't want to freeze it at this point, so put it in your refrigerator, let it drop down. As it drops down, we're going to get our awesome ice cream maker that we have. Everybody has ice cream makers in their house, right? Right? So we're going to take our cool ice cream maker. This has a gear on the bottom. This isn't frozen solid, but it should be frozen solid. We are going to take our ice cream mixture, put our spinning blade utensil in the middle. Churn, there we go. Lock this on, turn it on, and once it's actually on, then you can pour your ice cream in. Has anybody seen A Christmas Story? He licks the pole and his tongue sticks to the pole because it's frozen. So if you don't turn this on and you pour it in there, your ice cream's going to stick to the side and you're not going to be able to actually get any ice cream. You're just going to get a block frozen on the inside, and it's not fun. Put this over to the side. Shoo, disappear down here. There we go. Let this turn. It's going to take about 15-20 minutes to really freeze. Again, taking it back to 5th grade science class. What happens to water when it gets frozen? Oh, I thought it expands. I saw it over there. There we go, 10 points. So it expands. It's going to start to poke out of the top of this once it starts to freeze fully. Once it freezes fully, take it, put it back down into your freezer. You could freeze it overnight if you want really hard ice cream, or you could just eat it right away if you like soft serve. It's up to you. We are going to jump in to our, it's not called a cobbler, it's called a buckle. So it's going to be almost the same style that we did earlier for Adam's cornbread pan, upside down, but it's going to be for our dessert. So we have pre-measured sugar, flour, and baking soda with a pinch of salt. Mix it all together, and the reason we like to mix this all together is you don't want one bite of salt or one bite of sugar or one bite of flour. You want it all to be equal. So once it gets all nice and equaled in there, we're going to take our peach and we are going to peel it, but I do not have a peeler. Give me 1 second. Could you go and peel it? Peeler. We didn't plan any of this, I swear. So we are going to peel our peach, because just like peaches or apples in apple pies, you don't want any of the skin, because the skin doesn't cook down as the same as the flesh or the meat of the fruit. So if you put your skin in there, it's not going to cook down. You're still going to be chewing on skin and have all this nice mushy fruit going on around the inside. So we're going to take our peach. We are going to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Again, I am fumbling. Awesome! We got chefs over everywhere. So we're going to take our peach. We are going to cut out the seed because the seed is going to be kind of dug in. If you try to dig it out with a spoon, you're going to end up just like slicing around all the time. Cut it out. It's the easiest way. We're going to take our peach, and it says to toss it into some sugar. If you want to throw a little bit of lemon juice on there to help it from oxidizing, you could throw a little bit of lemon juice. But we're going to toss it in a little bit of sugar, and then we are going to take our pan with our butter. Just like Chef Adam did earlier, we are going to turn this on and melt our butter down. As our butter is melting, we are going to take whole milk and some vanilla, which is starting to get a little bit expensive, so we go for the vanilla extract instead of actual pure vanilla bean, because the pure vanilla bean, I believe, is $22 for one actual pod, so it's a little bit expensive, so we're going for the cheap stuff. Throw our milk into our wet mix, our dry mix. Mix this together. Once this starts to form together, we are going to then take our melted butter that's completely 100% fully melted. We are going to pour our melted butter in, and that's going to be our butter for our batter. Mix that together. Once it's completely melted in, which it is completely melted in, we're going to go back into that same pan. Then we are going to take our peaches, put our peaches on top. If you have any extra sugar laying around your house after you put your ice cream and your cake mix, put a little bit more sugar on the top, stick it into the oven, and then when you pull it out of the oven, it's going to look something like these. So it's going to go in for a little bit longer than usual. Normal baking times or normal baking temperatures are you don't want to exceed 325. Kind of a little bit of a rule. This one kind of goes past that. It says to go 350 for at least 55 minutes. So this was in the oven for 50 minutes total. If any recipe says specific times, I always go under by a little bit because I can always cook more. I can't undercook. So we're going to slice this up. We have some pre-made ice cream down there. We're not going to wait 2 hours for this to freeze, unfortunately. We're going to slice this up, turn out the music, and then we're going to give it to y'all and let you enjoy it. So thank you very much.
Anybody got questions for Cheryl?
Yeah, I probably missed this, but why do they call it buckle? Why do they call it buckle?
Probably because somebody's grandma decided it was called buckle because she didn't like to cobble down the street. To be honest, I'm not sure. I should do my research on that. There's probably a difference, but I believe it has something to do with the pouring warm butter in instead of using solid butter. So there's a couple different variables. Cobblers are normally the fruits on the bottom and the batter's on top. Not as runny as batter. Normally it's a little bit thicker, so you kind of place it on in chunks. But yes, same thing, a little bit of different recipes.
Buckle's more slightly more cake-like, whereas a cobbler kind of, if you taste cobbler, it's almost kind of chunky how everything really kind of mixed together. This is going to be a lot more like a cake, almost with just like some happy
Another question. Since we're talking about healthy eating, sugar substitutes, so your monk fruits and things of that nature, how do you still get the flavor and texture of your traditional granulated sugar if you're going to use some substitutes?
So substitutes, I like to use a lot of honey, and I like to use raw sugars. Raw sugars are cool. You just really have to be conscious about really getting them melted down. So putting them in some type of liquid to get them melted down. I would put them into my butter in this instance if I'm using whole sugars like that, or I would use honey. Honey is a really good substitute. Again, you would put that into something to make it liquid, so I would put it into my warm butter, something like that. I'm not a big fan of using the like Splenda or like the different types of powdered sugars, because those just aren't the best. They are normally a lot of chemicals. I try to go for something a little bit more natural, so the raw sugar and honey. Agave really isn't the best either, so I tend to stay away from that. So pretty much the best ones that I personally like to use are sugar and raw sugar, or honey and raw sugar.
What about, now putting you on the spot, right? What about like almond flour, wheat flour, those different flours, so that you're not using traditional enriched flour?
Enriched flours, yes. Using those, the same thing. I would always do a pre-bake.
So I would test it. If your recipe calls for all-purpose flour or bleached flour, if you're using a substitute, test it, play with it. The cool thing about the kitchen is if you make it, you get to eat it. So do a little bit of a playthrough, test it. The atmosphere might be different here than where it was written, so the moisture in the air might have something to do with it. But always, if you're doing something different, just try it out at first, because then you can kind of know that, hey, this one was a little bit too dry. I should add a little bit less flour. This one wasn't dry enough. It was too wet. Just playing around, kind of seeing like that. It's always good to substitute out, but just try to make sure that you know what you're doing.
I think he just gave us another important tip about atmosphere. So,
Yes.
Baking is much science and chemistry. So the temperature of your house and your stove and all that good stuff matters when you're baking. But that's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Oil the board, yes. I'll show you how to oil the board. 350 is what I baked this one. Yes. So for oiling the board, the best thing to do, if you don't have any, we have a specific brand, but any type of, we like to call them mechanic rags, or anything that you'd find in like a warehouse, any type of really, really thick paper towels. You don't want to use like anything off the shelf here. You want something a little bit more tough. We have this oil here is mineral oil. On the actual bottle itself, it says that it is, I don't want to say it out loud, but you guys can read it up here. It means if you drink the whole container, that's what it can do. But if little tiny amounts, it's edible, you're fine. It's the same thing as plums or pears. If you eat too many of those, some things will happen. But you're not eating 15 pounds, right? We're only using a tiny little bit. So what we do is we open this up. We are going to dab just a little bit onto our paper towel in about 2 or 3 spots. Then I like to start in the center and just slowly start rubbing it in. And it doesn't look like it starts to absorb until you start to move to a different spot, and then you see that it's actually starting to soak in. A little bit more. If you pour it straight onto the board, it's going to absorb into one spot. You don't want it to just go into one spot. Putting it on the rag allows you to really go around. Start from the middle, and then just keep rubbing it around, and rubbing it around. Eventually, it will seep in, and you're not really looking for much of a color change or to actually see any of that oil on the outside. If it's on the outside, that means it's going to get on your food. You really want it to soak into the board itself. So rubbing over it a couple times and just getting it really worked into the board itself. The more friction you apply, the more it'll loosen up the wood and allow it to seep in. So just rubbing it over and over again. You don't want to use more than 2 or 3 tablespoons at a time. So if you find yourself going back a lot, your board is probably dried out and needs a little bit more love than that. So what I would suggest in that case is to soak your board overnight. So take one of these, again, pour it over top so it completely soaked, and then get a pan or something heavy to set it on top of it and let that oil soak in overnight. A good way to tell if your board is needing some love is on the sides. It'll start to crinkle up. If it's nice and flat and doesn't rock back and forth when you do that, you're good. If it starts to rock back and forth on you, it might need a little bit more love. Any more questions, comments, or concerns? Yes? Excuse me, one more time? I would oil it every time I use it, which is every time I clean it. Like I said, the oil is keeping the bacteria or moisture from soaking in. So once I'm done with it, I would wash it and then re-oil it. Kind of like a cast iron. If you wash it and don't season it again, it's going to start to get not nice on the outside.
Do you recommend the same thing for serving boards, like serving tray?
If it's wood, yes. Anything that is that's wood that you're passing around or putting food onto, I would suggest oiling it. The same thing with our spoons. We oil our spoons as well, yes, because they'll start to crack. We're dipping them in hot water and oil and things and moving them around. So taking care of your utensils will take care of you in the return.
Now this may be, this again on the spot,
No worries.
But since we're talking about cutting boards, using a wooden board for raw meats versus a glass board, I typically don't use a wooden board for raw meats because it potentially soaks in.
Gotcha.
But some people use them interchangeably. So can you talk about that?
So what I was saying before was why people are afraid of these is because they really don't take care of them. It's kind of going back to a cast iron thing as well, as people don't like cast iron because you can't use soap and they don't really know what they're doing. But once you know what you're doing and you know how to take care of it, it's going to last a long time. I would cut down chicken on this, but it would be the board that I have seasoned before that I'm going to then clean and then season again. I wouldn't go into my friend's house and be like, hey, I see that wooden cutting board over there. Let me borrow it for a second. I don't know what he's done or what they've done with it. So yes and no. It just depends on if it's yours and you're working with it a lot. If you know your product, you can do what you want with it. If you don't know your product, I wouldn't play with it.
Well, all right. We, have had a great time with everything, and everybody's enjoying their dessert here. So, we want to just sort of wrap up the night as people enjoy your dessert. I hope that everybody has enjoyed the moment that we have spent together in sort of this intimate space and dining with V.I.R.T.U. But just a few notes that we have. Again, we are dining with V.I.R.T.U. today. Tomorrow we have exercise with V.I.R.T.U. You can follow us on social media to get more information on that. On Wednesday, we'll have Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Cree. That's October the 5th. So make sure that you tune in to our social media again for that. And then our official race day is Saturday, October the 8th. Now, you can run your race if you have already registered anytime between now and Saturday. But Saturday is the official race day. If you have not registered, please go and register. Join a team. You can join mine if you want to. You'll see it on there. But if you need to join somebody else's team, feel free to do that, but you may see mine on there as well, so feel free to do that. So join a team or sign up. We support that. I mean, we greatly thank you for your support in that. That does not just support our race and sort of doing things like that, but it really does support women's health and awareness, education, transportation, all of that around women's health and breast cancer. So it's going to a really great cause. So at this time, we're going to sort of get ready to close us out with everything. We're going to call up one of our board members who we want to have on. This is one of our newest board members, and we want her to talk about her experience with V.I.R.T.U. Inc. and then what she has experienced and maybe what she sees also going forward. And then after that, we'll close out the night. Again, you can come on up, Robin. Tag as many people as you can, because at the night we're going to verify who's the winner, and then you're going to get a cutting board. So we'll be reaching out to you to make sure we can get you the cutting board for the one who tags the most. So one of our board members here, we have Robin Burrell, and she's going to talk about her why as a new board member to V.I.R.T.U. Inc.
Thank you. Has everyone had a great time tonight? Yeah, it's been awesome. So I am a new board member, just a little over a year. And it's been a complete honor to be a board member. I have been a breast cancer awareness advocate for a long time. In 2004, I lost someone very dear to me. And shortly after that, my cousin, who was only 29 years old, was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it was really around 2005 that I started, paying to have exams done, because you can only insurance don't cover them until 40. So I started having breast exams done at that point. But I just see V.I.R.T.U. going, expanding nationwide. I think V.I.R.T.U. is an awesome organization. I wouldn't have said yes if I didn't think so. We have such a dynamic leader, and it's been the cause is so huge. But honestly, I'm just being honest, my favorite part of being a part of V.I.R.T.U. has been Miss D and getting to know Miss D, because she is just so awesome. And I don't know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm just so blessed. Thank you so much for seeing something in me and asking me to be on the board. And I'm just looking forward to what's to come, because I know it's going to be big. I know it's going to be great. And I'm ready for it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Robin, for that. Robin's husband is Chris Burrell. I forget his slogan. It's like, get your license, Alabama. So what, he had a slogan at one point. Yeah, getyourlicense.com. I'm just tagging her husband, because that's where it is. So and he's one of our partners as well. And so if you want to you got some troubles, get your license. Chris Burrell, he'll take care of you. So we again want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Again, if you have noticed, everyone who has talked about our founder has also said she's a visionary as well. And so during the pandemic, we sort of changed direction on how we engage around programs and outreach. And so we're in our third year of doing something completely different. And so it has been a success so far, and we expect it to be even greater. And so with that, I think we'll close out. Ms. D, you want to come up and close us out, give some thank yous again to our partners, everybody. I won't list them again, but you know who you are for partners. If you want to become a partner, you can also do that. We'll get Ms. D to tell you about that. Maybe we should show some stuff in the race bag. Yeah, okay.
And while we're getting ready to do that, Whitney, can you come up and just let the people see your face, put a face with a name? Whitney B. Events. She's been just a major again. I kind of gave her a shout out at the beginning, but we're going to close it out again. She has been just a key, pivotal player in making all this happen. Come on, girl. Come on. It's your moment. It's your hour. So thank you so much, Whitney. And just tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do. Whitney B. Events. I mean, come on. Because you're worldwide. It's an inside joke.
Well, I am Whitney of Whitney B. Events and Styling. I do wardrobe styling and also event planning. Two of my passions wrapped up in one business. So if you're looking for somebody to plan an event like this one, or you need styling for an event like this one, reach out to me. Worldwide. Oh, you can follow me at Whitney B. Events on Instagram or visit www.whitney-b.com. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Whitney. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think we want to talk about the race. First of all, everybody, hats off to the chefs here at Aprons, and I hope you at home, maybe you didn't cook along with us, but you'll take the recipes, you'll cook them. We're going into a 10-day fast, and we all in the rooms at our church. So we all in the room said that the gumbo was going to be something we could do. Now, one guy in the room, the smart one that told you you need alkaline water, you need all this stuff, he said we could not have rice. And Courtney Sankey, who's in the room, said if he hadn't said that, we could have had some rice along with all these beans and chickpeas. And what else did you tell me? You and Brittany told me I could. Quinoa, all of that. So we're going to just, Courtney, act like we didn't hear him say that rice was not a vegetable. We're going to make it be a vegetable. We went all around. It's like Brittany said, what about brown rice and something else? He said, no, not that either. So thank you, Mr. Walter, for that. But just hats off to them. They've been very generous, very gracious, opened their doors. Thanks to the people in the room. We had to have an audience in the room. So thank y'all for coming and hope you enjoy the meal. Let's give a shout out to our moderator for tonight. He has been amazing. And he's had fun, too. I want y'all to know. He's a talker, so he's enjoyed all of that. But thank you so much, and thank you for being a board member. And to our production people in the back, Dre and his crew, thank you so much. I mean, they're very professional, do a great job as far as media work is concerned. Dre, tell us the name of we're family, we can do this. Arcadia Studio One. Now, don't be calling him asking for no hookups and no, can you give me a discount? He's not that kind of guy, but he will work with you. And Dre, we appreciate you. Very, very professional. Thanks to you and your team. All right, so what we got? We got swag bag items. Those of you that are running the race with us, some of the swag bags should have been already received by people. And we tried to this year include things that would be a part of healthy eating and running and all of that. So you wanted, what's the method to the madness? So first thing, you get your t-shirt. Can you hold that up? That you're going to have your t-shirt. You're going to be out and about. It says Run with Virtue. Megan, my daughter, actually did the design. She is super, super, super talented with her hands and stuff. Naomi, her daughter, has that anointing too. The gentleman in the room gave her an apron and some washable crayons, and she drew a whole pumpkin patch. by hand in just a few minutes over there. Her mama was like, "Did you do that?" So I said, "Yeah, that's your anointing." So she did this beautiful design. And on the back, we have all of our sponsors. Thank God for our sponsors. Corey's already mentioned them. Senator Roger Smitherman, Jefferson County, Commissioner Sheila Tyson, City Councilwoman Crystal Smitherman, and then that's a District 6, More Than Conquerors Faith Church of Pastor Steve Green, Merrill Lynch, Lahoma is a part of that company, Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. And then we have Attorney Chris Burrell, get your license back kind of guy. Dr. Cree, she is just bomb diggity. She is going to be doing our wellness piece on Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, and she began to talk to us about what's new as it relates to testing, treatment, boutiques versus a big box to get your mammogram done. So Dr. Cree, y'all just come on, join in. Save the Tatas and the woman. She's going to be doing that. Lock Laces, was a company we reached out to, and they make these super laces that you can put on your shoes. You don't have to untie them and do all of that. They're sponsoring Aprons here, Publix, Whitney B. Events, Dorian, Gabrielle. Dorian, you want to come up and just greet the people a minute? She likes to sit behind it. But again, a core team. Dorian just has been amazing. What a divine connection. She's been with V.I.R.T.U.E in the PR piece, all of our communications and that kind of thing. Dorian helps us to do that. We're going to let you say something just a minute, so stay right there. And then, of course, V.I.R.T.U.E, and that's all of the people that seed into V.I.R.T.U.E and make us be able to do what we need to do. Thank you so much. Okay, what else we got? And then you come on while he's pulling it together. This is Dorian. She doesn't ever want to be on camera, don't want to take pictures. I'm like, wait a minute, girl, you a criminal? No, no, I'm just kidding. But Dorian, tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So happy to be here.
Yes.
Dorian Kendrick. My company is DGC, and I specialize in branding, marketing, communications. So just happy to support businesses of all sizes with getting their message out and engaging with the public. And definitely happy to be a part of V.I.R.T.U.E.
We're happy to have you. And she does it well. Sweet spirit. Always Miss Green. Keeps it professional no matter what. And I just really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's been a true divine connection. All right, what else we got? Okay, so for the salad, for the greens, okay? So you can get your dressing. It's a one-stop shop. Your dressing can go in here. Then you got your fork. So if you want to do your salads to take to work, greens, Mr. Walter over there, your fork on the back, or you can do fruit, or shakes. So we thought about that for you. And then your fanny pack for when you're out running, your towel for when you need that. You need to jot down a few things, and then hand sanitizer for the run. And then the last thing, everybody gets a medal. Everybody's a winner, no matter how fast or how slow you do the thing. So it's all with running in mind. And if you're out running, the last thing I want to say, in light of the situation that happened over in Tennessee with the runner and the lady that was out and got abducted, what you want to have as you're starting to run, okay, I'm going to run, I'm going to get out and walk and all of that, is a safety plan. We just really want to encourage that you have, okay, if I'm going to go out and run, what do I do? What if I'm running and somebody stops in front of me? It happens. We're talking to runners. They say it happens all the time. I need a way of escape. You're not on the fly. So if you're starting to get out and get active, as we're encouraging you to do, before you do that, have you a safety plan. Okay, how do I escape? How do I get away from that? And that's all I got to say. Thank y'all so much. The night's been far spent. We've enjoyed it. The food has been excellent. Look forward to, again, you can give to the cause, donate, go to runwithvirtue.com, click on the link, they tell me. I know, I was saying org, I'm wrong, sorry. Runwithvirtue.com, click on the link. You can donate to the cause. You don't have to run the race if you don't want to. All the proceeds, 100% of it, goes towards, as Corey has said, the needs, immediate needs, but also I believe that to get to the foundation of this thing, research is the key. And so we are donating portions of our contributions to MD Anderson and the Moonshot program that deals specifically with trying to bring a cure to breast cancer. Thank y'all so much for your support. Look forward to seeing you on the run. Upload your pictures, tag us, do all that stuff that they say you can do on social media. I just trust you with that. That's out of my wheelhouse. Again, enjoyed the night. Thank you, Corey. Thanks, everybody.